If you thrill to the smell of Castrol R, the throb of a well-fettled parallel twin, and think that bike racing just hasn't been the same since Aggo and Mike the Bike quit the TT, well then there's one show in the biking calendar you really shouldn't miss. I am talking, of course, about the International Classic Bike Show, celebrating its 24th anniversary at the Stafford County Showground. It's a celebration of when British really was best, with over 25,000 visitors expected over a weekend. It takes an awful lot of planning.
It normally takes us 6 months to put one event on, from sending the first booking forms out to everybody. We have 4 teams down at base that works full times on the show side, sending out tickets to people, advance tickets, all the information to the customers, to the traders and that. And then when we get to the show, we normally book the hotel for about 50 people. We have all our own staff. They all come down and they work on the gates. So it's all employees through our company. We hire a security company in for the week, for the duration of the event, for controlling the parking, the security of the bikes. Because you can imagine we've got some bikes here that's worth, over 500,000. So we've got to provide security for those machines. Classic motorcycle scene, very heavily emphasised in this event. We have more than 60 private entries, 45 to 50 clubs coming every year. We have a mixture of clubs, auto jumble, trade stand, and it all works together to bring the biggest show in the world. It's the biggest show in the world of its kind. We get lots of people coming from France, Germany, the States. We even had a gentleman once come over from the States looking for a brass lamp for an old flat tanker bike, and he purchased one here for 400 and he flew home. So he just flew in especially to come to this event.
As well as being the single largest exhibition of old British iron anywhere in the world, Stafford also holds the biggest classic bike auction, with getting on for 400 lots in this year's sale, a massive task for Ben Walker from Bonham's Auctioneers.
Approximately 5 months of my life goes into putting this sale together. What most people don't see is what goes on behind the scenes. The sale setup is pretty intensive and we do it all in the space of 2 days. 95% of the bikes from the UK, but we have machines coming from France, Italy, Germany, even as far as South Africa on occasion.
We asked Ben to point out 3 lots that he felt were especially interesting. Lot 324 is a very original 1927 Triumph 500cc Type-TT combination.
Probably one of the most original examples in existence. It's the original superbike of the 1920s, and it has been in one man's ownership now for over 39 years. This is going to appeal to many people, museums, private collectors, the dealers, of course, and your punter who's fancies something different, wants something which is going to hold its value, and a bike like this should do exactly that. Estimated at £8,000 to £10,000, and I think it's worth every penny of that.
Lot 346 is a Benelli 6, 900cc's, 1986, less than 40 miles on the clock.
I suspect the person who buys this bike might either be a museum or a private collector, someone who's always admired them and wants it as a display piece in their lounge or front room. I mean, it is a stunning looking machine, but the trouble with it is you couldn't effectively use it on the road without devaluing it. As soon as you start to put miles on the clock, put wear on the engine, it will lose its price. It's estimated at £6,000 to £7,000, and I do not wonder whether that's perhaps just a little bit too strong, whether the market is ready for a bike this new, one of the last to be produced around 1986, so it will be very interesting to see what this makes in the auction.
Lot 338 is a completely dismantled 1954 Vincent Black Shadow with no documentation and bits missing.
I got a call into the office, chap on the phone had a bike in his shed, not too sure what it was worth, quite local to me, so I popped down to see him. It was the son of the original owner, but they really had very little idea as to what its potential value was. I turned up on the doorstep, he showed me into the house, said, well, I think it could be worth maybe 500 quid, 1,000 quid. And well, boy, did I have some news for him. It turned out to be a Vincent Black Shadow, which, well, I know needs no introduction, a thoroughbred bike and a highly sought after machine. The difference is that this one is completely dismantled, in bits, and has caused a bit of a storm. I wouldn't be surprised if it sold for £8,000. I don't know that I'd necessarily be surprised if it sold for £10,000. But at the moment, your guess is as good as mine.
And we'll find out how they get on later in the show.